able to get it done. There was opportunities early on, that we just weren't able to capitalize on. Whether it was red zone possessions, you get some good momentum early on in that game, and you realize just the margin for error. The 2 turnovers obviously really hurt us. Really unfortunate. We had a communication error, and then we're kind of just laid over the middle. They end up making a nice play, and then after we hit the 46-yarder, you're in good positive momentum. We had that blitz picked up that we were sliding to that, and you ended up kind of just stopping and being able to get a tip. And those are just some tough things, but we weren't good enough on third down. Obviously, you lose Alaric Jackson. That was tough, but to me, the narrative of the game was I love the way that our defense played. I thought they were relentless. I thought special teams did a nice job, and then there was just some opportunities that we'll be able to learn from, and whether it's just figuring out how do we communicate, how do we handle some of the different things that they were presenting. You give credit to Cincinnati, but there was a lot of things that we did anticipate, and we got to be able to figure out, all right, how do we execute at a better level? How do we continue to provide clarity to our guys? And then there are certain things that, we're unfortunate about tonight. But the situational ball that we've been pretty good in offensively, was not good at all tonight, and that ended up really hurting us. I'm not even too really worried about it. I didn't even see Sarah. I just know they said, hey, we got to be ready to go on the 3-yard line if they end up calling it back. They made that decision, and then we've got to be able to go. And then taking a sack on first down really hurt us. Had an opportunity on the screen on second down where there was a lot of people out in front, and those are just things that hurt us. And then even had a chance on the third down. So that was an unfortunate sequence to settle for 3 right there, especially when you feel like, all right, he scores. You get some explosives, and but that was kind of that's the NFL, and you got to be able to figure out how to eliminate those things and capitalize on those opportunities. Yeah, you could talk about that. Zach Thomas had done a really good job with a lot of the repetitions that he had gotten, and felt like that, making a 2-man switch wasn't in the best interest. We'll look at the tape and figure out if that's something that we want to do moving forward if Alaric's out for an extended period of time.
In terms of adjusting, when you see a young left tackle that's thrown into the game and things are happening and Matthew's getting hit and all that, what's the adjustment conversation like, getting him help, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean there are, but they're doing a lot of different things where you do need to be able to use all 5 eligibles, and there'll be certainly some things that we can look at, and wish I did better. There were some opportunities for us to be able to make some plays and to try to be able to get through some of those downs, but that's certainly something that I definitely need to be able to look at.
Going just 1 on 11 on third down, were they giving you guys different looks?
No, you know what? It really, they did a nice job, but I mean, they were fairly, in alignment with what we kind of expected, and it was just, sometimes it was some execution. There was a couple things like Jordan mentioned where, they were able to apply some pressure, and then we ended up getting some conversions that then you end up getting penalties that take you out of it, and now you're way behind the sticks, and you're almost just trying to say, okay, let's just give ourselves some room for a punt. So there was a handful of those, and again, there'll be a lot of things that we can learn from this tape, and that's coaches and players alike.
At the start of the season, you talked a lot about wanting to make sure that there was balance and dimension, run pass balance and dimension in both phases, but still, even when things were even, still skewed pretty pass heavy. Was it something that you were doing?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of different things that we do, and there's certain things where you do want to be able to run the football, and then there's other times when there's better advantageous looks to be able to get off some of the things that we did, and that's what we'll look at. There were some favorable opportunities that unfortunately we weren't able to capitalize on, but sometimes you have sequences where you are trying to call a run, and they'll give you a structure that enables you to be able to get into different plays, whether that be throwing it or another run, and that was something that came up tonight. Yeah, you did. There was, I thought after a Kello's pick, Gary, and again, there was just an opportunity where you convert up, then you get a penalty, and you move yourself back, and so there was just a lot of self-inflicted wounds. And, and I say that, but you do give them credit. I don't want to take away the credit that they deserve for some of the different things that they created, some confusion, and, they had a great crowd tonight, but I thought there was a lot of things, especially early on, that when you look at it, you say, okay, are we really given the clarity? How quickly can some of these guys be able to learn on the fly? How can we help, and how can they help Matthew out? And I'm excited to be able to look at this tape. But yes, I did feel like we were in striking distance. I thought the defense kept us in the game the whole night. And I thought it was really unfortunate, especially early on where we had to settle for field goals where, we had some of the looks and some of the opportunities to be able to execute, and we just weren't able to get it done.
After the Bengals took the lead, you managed just 11 plays over the next 4 drives. Did you sense the offense getting frustrated, unable to sustain anything?
Well, yeah, there was frustration, and a lot of that stuff was, they did a good job being able to convert some third downs, stay on the field, and then, we weren't able to. We weren't good enough on third downs, and so you're right off the field. So there was a lot of things that just weren't good enough tonight, and a lot of things that we can learn from. This is a long season, and fortunately for us, we get a chance to be able to learn on a short week, and be able to get an opportunity to go compete against Indianapolis this week.
With those injuries, particularly on the offensive line, and a short week, and traveling back, to Indianapolis, are you concerned at all about being able to recover in time?
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll figure out exactly what the extent of those guys' injuries are, and then we'll be able to adjust and adapt accordingly, and that's what we have to be able to do.
Going against a DC like Blue, you guys obviously knew and talked about coming in. He's going to throw a lot of different looks at you. Got to be able to adjust. Did you feel that you guys, coaches, players, did enough of that type of adjusting when you saw it?
Yeah, and that's where it's like, there's certainly, I know that I can always do a better job, and I'll be the first to look inward. There was a handful of situations early on where they gave us things that we did expect and anticipate, and we didn't quite get it communicated on some of the other opportunities that we did have, and that was collectively. And you got to look at yourself and say, okay, are we providing the clarity? Why did we have some of those mistakes that occurred that whether it ended up being a turnover, not converting on some third downs, and those are all things that you want to be able to do as good a job as we can of trying to put our players through it. There was a couple mixers, but for the most part, credit to Lou and their defense. They did an excellent job executing, and there's certainly some things that we can collectively do a better job on our end, but it was fairly in alignment with what we thought.
Sean, what are the challenges of adjusting in real time to losing a starting left tackle?
Well, it's tough because you're playing from behind. They were doing a lot of different things that limited some of the things that we were able to activate. And so you become a little bit more regulated in terms of the inventory, and you're trying to be able to figure it out on the fly. And they did a nice job being able to present a variety of issues. Okay. Thanks, guys.
I never saw replay. But I mean, I trust that whatever they saw. So I never saw it.
Matthew, what are the challenges of adjusting in real time when you lose a starting left tackle, and for a period of time also your starting right guard as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. I thought they both stepped in and played well. I think, the biggest thing for us tonight was missed opportunities early in the game in the red zone. Obviously, if we can come away with some sevens there, it's probably a little bit different game later on. Obviously, turnovers, miscommunication on one of the protections, and then the other one, I'm throwing it to where it needs to go, and Mike Hilton read out of his pressure because we had him picked up. And sometimes those things happen, tips, and go to the other team. Just keep playing on those. But those are times where we lost points. So I thought our defense played great. Great play by Akilla late to get that ball back for us. But we just didn't do enough on offense, especially early in the game, to kind of give ourselves a little bit of a lead there.
One third down, everyone's a different story, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, what happened?
And it's just execution when it comes down to that, Obviously put ourselves in some tough spots, had some third and extra longs. Didn't do a good enough job there. And then, I'd have to go back and watch all of them for you. But, we just didn't execute. Throwing and catching is the name of the game on third down. We didn't do that well enough.
In the red zone, did you guys feel in terms of the, coaches and players have talked about being more balanced, dimensional. In the red zone, did you guys feel like you were in a balanced plan, or what's?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty similar, as far as run to pass than, as it is most weeks. Wish I would have either cut that one loose to Van or thrown it out of the back of the end zone on the first drive of the game. Just stay in normal downs to help us out there. Had a shot on the 1-2-2 in the back of the end zone. Thought I got tugged a little bit and almost came down with that one on the second drive. Just it's the name of the game in the NFL, missed opportunities, and if you don't get them, then it's obviously you let a good team like them stay in the game, especially early on. It's going to be tough to hold them off.
A couple more, guys. Couple more. Did you feel, even with your guys' struggles on offense, did you ever feel like things were turning, that you guys could get into a rhythm?
Yeah, I mean, there were times. I mean, I hit that the big play to Van. It felt like we were jumping the ball. Let's go tempo. Let's get them. Knew what pressure they were bringing. Got it picked up, and the next play's tip pick. It was kind of one of those deals where we'd have some nice plays, and then for one reason or another, we'd go backwards there for a little bit. So just gotta everybody look inward, obviously, and it's early on in the season. Just find a way to get better, move on, and obviously we got a short week, so nothing better than that. Just get back out there and go play again. Against a good Indy team.
After the Bengals took the lead, you managed just 11 plays over the next 4 drives. Was there any frustration at not being able to sustain the offense there?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you definitely want to be out there. Defense is playing as good as they're playing. We're staying in the game, got a chance to win it. Nobody's happy-go-lucky sitting over there on the sideline, when we're not executing the way that we can. So, it's everybody just pulling in the same direction, trying to be as good as we can, try to get better, and go from there.
Sean said that part of the reason why Zach wasn't getting a ton of help at left side,
Mm-hmm.
the further the game went, was because of what you guys needed to do with the other eligibles on the field. Can you expand on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, it was we kind of had had to catch up a little bit there, so we were just trying to get as many guys out in the protection or out in the pass game as we could. We'll take a look at that and see what those guys' injuries are, see how they're feeling, and move forward from there. But I was, impressed with the guys stepped up and the way they played.
All set.
Thanks.